In a recent video, I mentioned I feel way more satisfaction doing high-level content in Final Fantasy XIV than in WoW. But I also realized I feel the same way in the easy content. And I think that's an important distinction because way more people are going to experience the easy content. And sometimes easy content is what I want.
The reason why WoW content is less fulfilling whenever you complete it is that the majority of the WoW has a lot of mechanics that happen all at the same time, whereas like Final Fantasy has less mechanics that are occurring simultaneously, but each of the mechanics that are occurring simultaneously are incredibly important, very well telegraphed, and if you do them wrong, you will die.
I know when I'm super stressed from real life stuff like work, I want my gaming to be pretty chill and relaxing.
Yeah, I think that's the same with a lot of
Some
people.
kind of mindless grind or face roll dungeons can be really nice to chill out and just press some buttons.
True and real.
First, what I mean by easy content is content that's meant to be beaten. Normal dungeons,
Yeah.
story scenarios.
Yeah,
LFR.
I think like both games have this content. Stuff that like it's designed to lose. It's programmed to lose.
Wow, Alliance raids in 14. You might wipe once or twice when it's brand new, but it's not made to be a huge obstacle. It's made to be beaten.
Yeah.
What I noticed while leveling different characters in Dragonflight was I found no fun in the normal dungeons. I had fun doing them
Why?
with friends, but that's because my friends were fun, not
Yeah.
because of the dungeon.
That makes
And
sense.
then I went to do my expert roulettes in Final Fantasy XIV, which is just a random current dungeon, and had a great time, even though I've done dozens of them. Hell, sometimes I'll do an expert roulette when I'm already capped on my weekly tomestones, just because I feel like it.
Okay.
So I started wondering, what's the difference? Why does the easy content in 14 give me that feeling of satisfaction, while normal dungeons in WoW cause me to watch my other monitor?
I'll tell you one reason is because in that fight that he just did, there were only two mechanics. There was the big circle and the smaller cone. And if you show the combat in WoW, there was like 7 mechanics that were occurring simultaneously. Like, for example, we're at 202, right? Okay, so for example, like this guy, the big dick right here, this guy has 3 separate abilities that he does. These whelps can also have, like, they have an attack and it freezes you if you don't do it right. Each of these casters has different abilities, like Tectonic Slam, Ice Bolt. These are 2 different NPCs. They need to be interrupted and brought into the group. So, like, the amount of things that you have to do whenever you're playing the game is much higher in WoW, and the things that you have to avoid is much higher. But conversely, in Final Fantasy, there are less things that you have to avoid, but the things are more punishing if you fail them.
The answer I came up with is, even though both are meant to be beaten, Final Fantasy XIV's mechanics are clearly pass or fail. I understand exactly how to do the bosses correctly, and it feels good to do them. If I fail mechanics, I know, because I get a vuln stack, and I'll be punished if I do that multiple times. On the other hand, in WoW, the easy content just isn't dangerous at all, to the point where I don't know if I'm doing anything correctly or not.
Well, the other difference is that the easy content is the same as the hard content. Like, if you're doing a plus 20, if you're doing a plus 10, or you're doing a plus 30, it is the exact same thing in Mythic Dungeon. It has the exact same mechanics, it's just that the numbers are different.
It's hard to tell how to exactly do bosses until you start doing Mythic Plus. While leveling my first character in Dragonflight, I sometimes killed bosses without realizing they were bosses. To be clear, I'm not saying that easy content should be hard. That defeats the point. What I'm saying is that even easy content should be satisfying to do correctly. Here's an example.
I think that like the satisfying nature of like being able to avoid all of the different attacks and abilities or whatever. This video sucks. Guys, just chill out. Just listen to what he's saying. Don't be a two-head and be like, but he talks slow, he dumb. Stop. Just listen to what's being said. I don't care about that. It's totally irrelevant to me.
Here's a boss in Final Fantasy XIV that shoots lasers from the sides. All you got to do is look to see where the double lasers are pointing and stand to the side of that. Super easy mechanic that is obvious after the first time you see it and feels super satisfying to do every time I run this place.
Well, I think that Final Fantasy dungeons and the raids, they're like way more cinematic. So like, for example, like I remember we fought this one dude in Final Fantasy and his name was, I think, Susano. And like he brought down this gigantic, massive fucking sword, and everybody had to spam just like one button to stop him from pushing it, to push the sword away. That's an easy boss, but it feels really cool to do that. And I think that, yeah, WoW does need more elements where it feels really cool to be able to do something, and it feels more cinematic for it to happen.
Every boss in recent years in Final Fantasy XIV has multiple mechanics like this. Now, let's look at a normal boss in WoW.
My allies sacrificed themselves so that I could return these eggs to their natural state. You will not interfere!
Okay. I think this is on heroic. I'm not sure. No, there's no way it's on heroic. Does it say what was it, a plus what? I don't know. She's dying so fast. He said, oh, it's on normal? Okay. I thought he just said a normal dungeon, not a normal mode difficulty dungeon. Okay, yeah. Understood.
Was that a boss? Or was that trash? It felt nice AoEing the ads, but I mean, it's just not very satisfying overall. I don't feel anything from that. Again, I want to emphasize, I'm not saying that the answer is to make things harder. I'm specifically talking about intentionally easy content here.
Okay.
My point is that more difficulty doesn't mean more fun, and the inverse of that is easiness doesn't have to be boring. In Final Fantasy XIV, I get a good similar feeling of satisfaction from doing boss mechanics correctly, regardless of if it's in normal story mode or savage difficulty. In WoW, I couldn't tell you half of what bosses do. And
I mean, that's not...
doesn't feel good.
I mean, I think that's just because he hasn't done it before. Because, like, I mean, I know what she does. For example, the Meladrusa fight, it's pretty simple. But, yeah. And there are elements of, like, counterplay that you can do. So, like, you can reflect some of her spells. You have to stack up whenever she does that ice thing, and then you have to move the ice circle away. You have to cleanse the person who's tanking the whelps, because at 10 stacks they get frozen. The whelps come out 2 times in the fight. Like, there's more complexities to it, but I think what he's really getting at here, and this is what I'm getting out of this, is that the fights in WoW are not as cinematically satisfying as they are in Final Fantasy. And I think that's generally true. You want to know a really big departure from that, though? Is Vault of the Incarnates. Whenever you're flying in there and you're bombarding the Vault of the Incarnates with these dragons, and then you finally land and you fight that first boss, that sounds and that feels really fucking cool, man. But there's nothing... Asmongold... let me see if I can find this. Yeah, was this it? I think there is nothing in WoW that has ever been on this level. Where's the cinematic here? Where the fuck is it? The transition for this. Because it was so fucking cool. Where is it? I'm not sure exactly. Maybe it's somewhere around here. Give me a second, guys. Sorry about this. Okay. I'll try to find it. Give me a second. Fuck. Okay. It's right after these things die. Yeah. 3 fucking ads. The red dragon eats the mosquitoes. Oh shit, it just got cut ahead. Well, fuck. Which heals him and gives him damage boost. God damn it. I don't know when it's a good time to use the transition to the fuck. Yeah, it got cut out.
Did we beat it?
Okay.
Did we beat it? Oh, fuck. Okay.
So there's nothing in WoW that I think is even remotely close to...
Alright, moving back in.
This right here. There's nothing that is even close to this.
Okay.
This was fucking insane.
Do it! Alright, I'm doing it! It's up! Holy shit!
And like the music is good.
I fucking
like
did
the
it,
cinematic
boys.
transition is good. It was fucking
There he
insane.
Is. I'm back on him, I got him.
And like people are just freaking the fuck out, obviously.
Holy shit!
That guy was no joke. And what was the closest thing we've had to this? Maybe Illidan in the Mythic Gul'dan fight? I don't know. Mythic Argus? No, not really. I mean, Mythic Argus just turned red. Who cares? Yeah, I don't know. Well, there was nothing... There was almost nothing in WoW ever that had like this level of cinematic appeal, where it's like the transition happens, and like you had no idea this shit was gonna happen at all, right?
All right, moving back in.
It just kind of came out of nowhere, and like especially with the music and everything about it, it was just fucking insane.
Okay.
This was so cool.
All right, I'm doing it.
And then you use like this massive ability to reduce the damage that you take. It's incredible. It was epic. Yeah, this was epic. It's like effectively a cutscene inside of the game. Lost Ark has a little bit of this too. Like in that last Brelshaza gate, it feels really cool whenever the phase transitions happen. There's like music for it and everything. So that's where I think WoW and like Final Fantasy content diverge. So it's actually not anything that has to do with the difficulty of the content. It has to do with the cinematic nature of overcoming the content. And the mechanics in WoW don't really feel very good to avoid. Wait till we get to a con, it's way better. Maybe it is. Yeah, it's the presentation of the content. Because this fight, I mean, the truth is, like, this fight is not super complex. You know, he just does, like, a tank smash, and you have to run out for a couple of things, and it's not like it's impossible to do or anything.
Can we get a res?
Yeah, it's super old, too. Yeah, this, you have to keep in mind, like, this fight came out in, like, 2014, 2015. So they've made better ones since then. I think the other thing it's trying to say is you can clear normal mode content in WoW without ever really interacting with it. Yeah, exactly. Whereas like in Final Fantasy, even whenever you fight Titan, which is I think like the... is Titan the second or third? I forgot which... maybe he's the first or the second. Yeah, he's the second fucking primal that you fight. If you get knocked off the edge, you're off the edge. That's it. It's not like you're coming back on. You're not getting you're not getting rezzed. Maybe you might get rezzed, but I don't know if you can even res at that level at all. But you're fucking dead. So, not anymore, yeah. Well, point is that you still have to do the mechanics correctly. Whereas, like in WoW, you do not have to do them correctly. It does not matter. Nobody cares. So, yeah, it's like Vaulton. Yeah, I think Vaulton, in my opinion, is probably, it's still my favorite boss fight in Lost Ark. I think it is probably, it is the best ARPG boss fight that I've ever played in any ARPG. It is incredible. Only the second gate, though. The first gate was fucking stupid. I hated that. You have finished Belshazzar Gate 6? No, I haven't. We're going to finish it today. That's what my plan is. Easiest? The thing is that, and isn't that interesting, right? That the easiest one is the one that I like the most, and a lot of people like the most. I don't think that the difficulty of this content, like for example, like this boss fight is probably a lot easier than Mythic Jailer. I would say so. But people like this one more. Why is that? It's because, you know, difficulty is not quality. Difficulty does not equal fun. Exactly.